Eskom has just confirmed that the generating capacity has still not sufficiently recovered, which will then mean more blackouts this weekend. The power utility gave that update a short time ago. Let's get a live update now on that with our business reporter, Kopano Gumbi, who's been listening in. Kopano, let's begin with why it is that load shedding, stage 4 at least, is likely to continue.
Well, Tembekile, Eskom telling us just this morning that what happened was overnight they were able to recover some of their generating capacity, and so some of the units in various power stations were able to come back online. However, it's unfortunately not enough to stave off stage 4, and later on this afternoon at least to stave off stage 6, because they said to us that the net gain of this change in generating capacity is still not enough to maintain the power stations and to get us at least a lower stage of load shedding for this time, Tembekile.
And for the weekend, we're likely to still see the same, isn't it? Saturday and Sunday.
That's absolutely correct. We are most likely to see load shedding not just over the weekend, but well into next week as well, Tembekile. We know that stage 4 will continue throughout the weekend and sometime during the evening dropping down to stage 2, but ramping up again. And then we expect to see the continuation of load shedding into the week, given that although the ongoing wage negotiations may be over, as workers slowly start to get back into their offices, you'll find that it's going to take a little bit longer for them to keep up with the maintenance that's needed, given that the power stations have been not very well run in the last few days. And
on the negotiations, we're expecting to hear something today about a return to the negotiating table, Eskom, NUMSA and the NUM going back, because yesterday there were reports of a rejection of a 7% offer, but the union said that was not true. Do we know where things stand on the issue of wages specifically?
Well, I asked them just before we started the program today, and they said to me, well, we're just locked in conversations right now, or the meetings continue, but we're not allowed yet to give you any updates on how far that is going. And because of the sensitive nature of the talks, and given that 90% of staff in some power stations are not yet back at their offices, we find that we may have to wait a little bit longer to hear back from them whether or not we're going to have successful wage negotiations, and all staff that have been off will be back in the office.
Final one, Kopano. So if we don't have an agreement from the strike by the weekend, even if it's not been rejected, what does that mean then for the problem that Eskom has been facing around high absenteeism as well as alleged intimidation of workers who've actually been reporting for duty?
Well, it could mean that the ongoing striking workers continue to strike. Now, Andre Director very clearly explaining to us that although they're just trying to get over this hurdle, at some point they're going to have that difficult conversation with workers about what is going to happen since they've been embarking on this illegal strike, and they will be taking some disciplinary action against those workers. To have 90% of your staff unavailable in some power stations has caused severe strain on the system. Andre Director, in fact, telling us earlier in the briefing that at one of the power stations, which they cannot mention, there was a case where there was a financial director of the power station who took off his jacket and went into the power station to operate it so that we could have some kind of power coming out of that station, Tembekile. So if the talks do not go as successfully as everybody is hoping they do, it's likely that the strike will continue, and we will continue to see stage 6 load shedding and at least stage 4 for the rest of the week.
Newzroom Afrika business reporter Kopano Gumbi there on the latest as far as the power situation in the country is concerned.